Welcome to Listen Up. Today we're joined by Silvastone that I met a few months ago at a name event.
Yeah.
Right, you were with your team.
Uh-huh.
Since then we had time to talk a bit more online, and so I'm super excited to have you here today.
Thank you very much. It feels good to be here, man.
Nice. Do you want to introduce yourself a bit and say...
Silvastone, artist, producer, songwriter, business owner, businessman. Yeah, just everything progressive, awesome, positive. That's me.
Nice. I actually just maybe we can jump real quick before you explain how did you land in music, basically. But you were in Cannes just a few days ago, no?
Yeah, I was.
How was it?
Cannes Lion was really awesome. My first time. Was there for a week. It was such an eye opener. Nothing really to do with, well, no, actually I shouldn't say that. The main objective wasn't music, but it's so awesome to see how music is embedded in so many things. So it's an advertising and marketing festival. But music is engrossed in everything. So it was quite great to be able to speak to people, see how they're using music, see how they're trying to help the next generation, seeing how they're, embedding AI and all of that stuff. It was an eye-opener for me, some great people over there. Elon Musk was there, and Andre 3000 and Gary V, to name a few. So it was really, really...
So nobody's, right? People hasn't heard of that. Okay,
Wow.
good. And so it's interesting because we continue on the tangent, right? But there's a future where people see that basically AI will be able to replace all the artistic work that goes behind giving more life to all these content that is being used for advertising and so on. What was the vibe over there? How did you feel that people are going to behave in the future?
I think AI is definitely going to open a lot of eyes and bring a lot of tears to some people because they're going to feel that, their jobs have been taken over. But nothing beats the real thing. As much as you might have AI music, you can't have an AI concert with the real person. Obviously, you can have, Meta. We're talking about their Meta Quest and all of that, and their
About Voyage, doing like the holograms.
Exactly. So all of that stuff is awesome, but you still need human beings. So I think we just have to evolve and learn how we're going to now use AI for our advantage and not for it to put us out of a job. It's very important for you to evolve. It's not the strongest that survive, nor the most intelligent, but those who are adaptable to change. So as times change, you have to be adaptable to it so you don't fall, on the wayside. And I think things like Cannes Lion is one of those conferences or events that kind of make you realize, okay, this is happening. How do we now go back and figure out how we are going to keep our foot in the market without us, falling aside like Blockbuster video, when the likes of Netflix comes along.
Yeah. The fact that that would be a new tool and how to use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
The only challenge, of course, is that it's not like autotunes, right? Where you still need a human being, like with AI.
Yeah.
So with these platforms that you can actually fully replace a whole production process.
Yeah.
I truly believe that that music being a mind expanding experience, I really think that the relatability of who created that music or what message it encompasses is going to be important in the future. I really wonder how we're going to be able to differentiate what we used to call elevator music and real music. But now if you see the quality that an AI platform is able to produce, I'm wondering how we're going to be able to differentiate that.
Yeah. I think AI is powerful, but the human beings are more powerful. We still can come up with something that is so awesome. And I still feel that as long as we continue doing what we're doing as musicians, perfecting our craft, working on, what we want to do, AI is always going to technically be a step behind because they're going to have to use the input from human beings to create whatever the AI is going to create. However, I feel like there's still a space for those who really want that genuine human music. Like, but then again, who knows? In 30 years, we won't know the difference. You know, it may come to that where, you know, the kids who are literally being born now become 30 and all they've done is listen to AI music. So therefore it's like, that's what they feel is real.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
However, I still feel, you know, as a musician, like, how are you going to go to an AI concert?
No, I agree. I think for me, the important part is fandom. Right?
Yeah.
That you don't want to be a huge fan of a machine, right? Gmail works great.
Yeah.
I don't want a fan of
Yeah,
Gmail.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's a service.
Yeah.
And so I think that fandom can only be applied or directed towards another human. It sounds really weird. Like 20 years ago, we would never even say that fandom has to be directed to the human. But you have several companies already now that are using just ghostwriters or AI and so on. And so they're trying to create these avatars, right? These virtual influencers.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to do so. I wonder how we're going to be able to differentiate them. And so one of the things I'm wondering is the ultra production of virtual content that might not be done by humans going to actually reverse everything we've seen over the last 20 years with the internet, where like everyone go and get their information online. Now you're going to be like, wait a minute, I can see a video of Joe Rogan telling me something that he has never said. So I cannot trust the internet.
Yeah, there you go.
And so we would go back to centralized, trusted sources.
Yeah.
That might be corrupted or not, we don't know, right? Like back in the days, the newspapers.
Propaganda.
But I'm wondering, because literally tomorrow, you and I could have that chat on an island without ever stepping foot on that island. And so people that would look at this online would be like, wait a minute, did they spend time to create that experience for me? Or is it all fake? And in that case, I'm going to start losing interest because I can do it myself in my bedroom.
Yeah, it's true. I think, you know, as much as the whole AI is so exciting, but I think, like you said, once we realize how fake it is, how actually, like, we're not gonna really fall in love with it, you know. I guess there's so many times you've seen online now there are like AI Instagrams and stuff like that, you know, and people, they have like hundreds of thousands of followers, but it's not a real person. But you don't fall in love with that. You don't, you know, you might be addicted to it, you might enjoy the content, but I mean, I don't think you would actually fall in love with it. However, who knows? Because the thing is, at some point, if that's all you know, then that could be the case. Because we're talking about it because we know the difference. We know the real, we know AI, you know. But when it gets to a point where all you've had for 20 years is AI material, you won't know what it feels to have real material.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit like, you know, the Matrix.
I agree. It's a bit concerning.
Yeah, so I think it's very important for us as musicians to continue making music, put everything out. Let us, you know, we can't be looking at it thinking, oh, you know, it's no point because AI is there and AI is going to just take over the world. No, we have to still put out music. We still have to be true to our craft. We have to love it. And also, it's not going to conquer the whole world. The world is big. You know, there's parts of it that are still going to be analog. Parts of it that are just going to just love to listen to somebody with their guitar in front of them and singing, you know? And that's what we have to remember, because everything we're seeing over here is just over here. There's a side of the world that, you know, there's parts of the world that still play CDs, that still love MP3s on their USB sticks. You know, like there's still like people who love that life. Vinyls coming back, you know. So as much as what we need to remember, as much as technology is advancing and growing and looking like, it's going to take our jobs. It's not really. It's just we have to look at it as, okay, how's it going to enhance what I'm doing? Like, for instance, even what's it called? Editing pictures and stuff like that.
I was going to say that, like the way we did this podcast, for example, with heavily supported by AI.
Yeah.
But in the sense of a complementary tool. So that's very practical.
And that's what I'm saying.
Tech. I think that the fear is when there's a concept of sentience. Where, but this is something else. And to be honest, I don't think at our level, like we can do anything to basically bypass that.
Nothing.
But regarding tools and tech, this is amazing.
Yeah, so how you're editing this, you're using AI and it's helping. However, you're not, we're real, you understand? And fair enough, a time will come where you just give the script and you give the, how you want the people to look and what you want them to say, and, that will be there. But it's not real.
Yeah, it will depend on the use case. Like Toys R Us just released an ad.
Are they still around?
Yes, I don't even know. But they just released an ad fully made by AI. And because a lot of these ads basically are, it's digital, right? So it's not even a human playing in it, but it existed 5 years ago, right? So people would not know nor care if it has been realized by and produced by a guy in front of his laptop, right? Or by AI. So it's good. I think it's going to become like that vibe of like elevator ads, right? Or elevator music. It's just that I don't know how we're going to be able to differentiate it. Before we were able to differentiate that with the level of, with the quality and with the creativity. But if you let AI train on like 100 years, hundreds of years of music, as humans, there's no way we can compete.
That too, but then the beauty of the human is the imperfection, so the fact that we're going to still be able to create music and it may not, it may not be fully perfect. That's something that we love. Like when we see an artist sing and their voice breaks, or they see, they just see just the live element of it. That's still something that AI will never be able to capture.
Yeah, on stage is flesh and blood.
Yeah, like how you going to do this? Yeah, we had the Gorillas, for instance, who were, they're cartoon. But how many cartoon or AI looking, bands are you going to have?
Plus, you are going to see, like we could see them live.
Yeah.
So their whole shtick was everything digital.
Yeah.
We are cartoons. But if you come to see us live, we're gonna rock it, right? So that's why it's okay. If we step back for a minute, because we went directly into AI, I'm fascinated by
already.
but like, so what's your path? How did you land into this beautiful, dangerous music world?
Music has always been my passion as a kid. I grew up in South London and in Sierra Leone, and always had music around me. I taught myself how to play the piano. I moved to Sierra Leone, where I went to school as well, and I was allowed to play the piano in school and I had a piano at home. And I just always felt that I loved music so much. Everything I want to do in life must revolve around music somehow, some way. So coming back to the UK, I started making music in my bedroom. Had a few friends that I was making music with, and we were coming up. Everybody else went to do their thing. I've always loved creating music, so I learned to produce on Cubase and on Fruity Loops, Logic, and so I thought to myself, I have to build something. I have to build my own space. So if music is taking time, I'm going to still be able to do it. So for instance, I didn't want to just get signed, because the stories of people getting signed, being shelved, or getting signed and they're not working. So I thought to myself, okay, I need to build something where I can always do it. So it's on my time. No one can tell me, oh yeah, you can't get into the studio. So I built a recording studio called White Hut Studios. and that was going on for quite some time, and it's still running now. And I also started an education company with my business partner where I mentor kids through music. So that was me now thinking outside the box of just recording my own music or recording music for, artists that come to the studio. I thought maybe I can start mentoring young people as well. And so through my experience of working with artists like Emmanuel John and Black Twang, we used to travel the world. That really opened my eyes to see how much knowledge there is to give back. So also working on my own music, I thought at that same time I want to be able to have an education company that mentors young people. So I was going to colleges, Peru's, high schools, like,
It's super interesting.
yeah, it was really cool.
So I have questions about your music, and well, let's start with this, right?
Yeah.
For your music, I some of the songs I felt like it was a mix of Afrobeat and reggae a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it me or?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm heavily influenced by reggae and also Afrobeats, being a Sierra Leonean and Ghanaian. So yeah, Afrobeats is in my blood. But I'm a student of music. I just love all types of music,
Yeah. There is so we have like I was in literally like some of my best mates are from Nigeria, so I was celebrating Christmas there 2 years ago, and we even have some investors from Nigeria.
Oh, nice.
And so I didn't have time to visit Ghana or Sierra Leone at that time, but there is a contentious topic which is Amapiano.
Okay.
And I saw that you did a remix.
Yeah.
How would you define, because I had to research Amapiano. When I
Yeah.
discovered this, I think like a year or two ago, like I had to Google it because I never heard about it. Like, how would you describe Amapiano for the people looking at the episode?
I mean, Amapiano's from South Africa.
Yeah.
It's just a whole sound created, incubated, and birthed there. And the vibe, it's just vibey music, We don't understand, we who do not speak the language don't understand it. But this is the importance of good music. It's about the energy and the vibe. You don't have to understand the language. You just have to understand the vibe. And I think Amapiano does that the best. We are not looking, we're not looking at artists. We're just looking at good music and good vibes. I myself struggle to remember the names of the artists and DJs whose songs I play over and over and over again. And that's just because I end up playing it and I just love the sound and I'm just enjoying it. But that's the good thing and bad thing about streaming, for instance, because you can just play it. Whereas if I went to the record shop and bought it, I'd be looking, I'd be like, okay, this song. I'd be asking the guy, yo, have you heard this song?
Commoditization.
Yeah.
Commoditization
so.
of music.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's the topic right after. It's that what I read is that there is a big battle of like Amapiano is now influencing a bit too much Afrobeats. What do you think?
Nah, not at all. You know what it is? It's because the Afrobeats we get is just a tiny speck compared to the Afrobeats that's in Africa. You gotta remember Africa is a whole continent, so every country has their own type of music, which is African music, so Afrobeats is what's popular. That's why, before it was more Ghanaian sounding Afrobeats, high life, popular. So Amapiano now is popular, so that's what it is. I don't think it's taken over, it's just part of the culture, part of the evolution of African music.
No, totally fair. To be honest, like I like both, so I can have
and it's not even like it's all one. It's coming from one continent. Like I don't think we look at it as Amapiano and Afrobeats, which one's better. Nah, man, it's just music. We just love music. When was the last time you heard soft rock and heavy metal? Which one's better?
But that's actually a very intense conversation within the rock community. But that's why I was asking, because everyone is really.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not privy to that conversation. But I can't remember the last time we're thinking who's the better artist or what's a better kind of music, or is it being influenced pop rock and soft rock and heavy metal. No, we listen to the music.
Yeah, no, fair. No, totally fair. It's very subjective. It's like, again,
Yeah, you just play the
what gives
songs
you
and you
emotion?
love the songs and that's it. It's
Yeah.
like, that's the vibe.
Fully aligned. To go back on the topic that you brought in with the commoditization, I really will not be able to say this word today, of music, right? The fact that, okay, we have the classic CD era, right? We peak in 1999. Then the internet, piracy, demolishes the music industry. Then streaming arrives. And people are just like, oh, okay, cool. I can actually ensure that when I'm listening to music, that's not illegal, and artists are being paid for it, and everyone's happy. But then fast forward 20 years later, 2024, basically no one is apparently making money with streaming. And it's mainly live. So for example, for your specific case, how do you organize your business around this, and your life as an artist?
This is why, as an artist, it's music business, and then also you need to figure out, like, you know, what more you can do to help your situation. So, if all I'm looking at is streaming money, like for most artists, it's not gonna work, because the streaming, by the time you get that 0.0001 for each stream, it's not going to make sense, even, you know, with millions and millions of streams. So I feel like now us as artists have to figure out different ways to make money. It's important to have your streams, but I think it looks good. It's not great in the pocket, I don't think, you know. It's funny because you can do a show and get your probably half a year's streams in one show, that kind of amount. So you think to yourself, but hold on, I've got thousands and thousands of streams, or hundreds of thousands or millions. Why is it not adding up? So that's why, as a musician, you have to think, as a businessman as well, you have to think, okay, what more can I do in order for me to be able to make the music I love without me having to lose my sanity, or just think, oh wow, I had this huge hit. You hear it all the time. Artists have huge hits. You think, oh my gosh, that song is global, and then they'll come back to you a couple of years later and say, yeah, I made nothing from that song. You know, and it's so sad.
I totally agree with what you said. I'm trying to push, it's not a narrative, but the words of, like, when I started talking to a lot of artists a few years ago, it was dirty to talk about money, about business, because it's for the suits, it's for other people. We are creative. And now, like, at that time I was not sure, but now I'm 100% convinced it's like, it is important to talk about money, because otherwise you're going to get screwed, because you need to have that conversation, because you can be creative. It doesn't take away from you from being a creative. It's just that if you don't have the business discussion and there is money involved, so there are going to be taxes involved, so there are going to be business people involved. If you don't take care of it yourself, someone else will, and this is where you get screwed. And
I think even if you get to that point where someone else does, and that's where you're screwed, that means you're making money. You might not even get to that point where someone else does, because the whole situation is so kind of messed up. Like, the deals are not done in the favor of the artist. We know that. So I think as artists, we need to look at our music as a way for us to start businesses, you know, to look and see, okay, right, if I'm given an advance, I ain't gonna buy a chain. I'm gonna invest in my music, and I'm gonna invest in something else as well. Do you understand? So then once I do invest in something else, maybe that will help me relieve some of the stress of the music is not bringing enough money in. If you think about it, I remember watching a podcast, and Jason Derulo, they asked, oh, what brings you money? Because, you know, we all thought, it's the music, because he was just on tour. I was like, no, it was my car washes. This guy has a car wash where it's like a subscription. Subscribe to it, and you wash your car as many times as you want. That brings him so much money. And I was thinking, that's such a smart way, because the thing is, you know, him as Jason Derulo, somebody's going to think to themselves, yeah, I'll invest in your company. You're Jason Derulo. I've heard your songs. I kind of know you. I kind of feel, you know, like I understand where you're coming from.
100%. In France, we had this. We have this rapper. His stage name is La Fouine, right?
Yeah.
And there's an interview where he was explaining that. He said, like, I had a #1 hit on the radio, and it was like 15 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And I was still working as a bus driver,
Yeah.
which was his original day job.
Yeah.
Because I started investing my money in real estate directly. So my first advance, because I was able to mix, produce, and do everything in my bedroom, was spent in an investment, not just in cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward a few years later, I can basically enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
And so I totally agree. Like Bill Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins explained also, like, think about money, like be wise and try to think that, I don't know who said that also, to think like a pro athlete, right? The fact that you have a shelf life, because what you're doing is highly competitive.
Yeah.
So if you stay up as long as the Rolling Stones, good for you, but you don't have more than 10 bands maybe like them. So
This is it.
thinking about getting that money and reinvesting it, because you make a bump, but then you need to create something sustainable to have food on the table and a roof over your head. You need to think business.
It's so important, and artists don't realize that sometimes. They just think, I'm gonna go to Sony, I'm gonna get a big check, and then I'm gonna be fine, and da 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 da. But you don't realize that if these guys give you $1 million, know that they're gonna get 10 million.
It's an investment. They want to make more money.
Yeah, so like, you have to think to yourself that, okay, whatever I get, I need to make sure that I'm invested in myself, so I'm not in this position anymore, you know? Otherwise, what happens is you just go back down to zero.
You reset all the time, the clock. Yeah.
And so many people do that, you know? It's almost like they don't understand that this bubble won't last forever, you know? And I think, so for me, like in my story, because my whole life I've been independent, I've had to figure out how to make money. I've had to figure out how to keep money, how to invest it, how to, you know my level in terms of how much I will spend and how much I can't, you know. And once you start doing that over some years, it gets better, you know.
Compound effect.
There you go. And and then you understand the power of being in control of your own time, in control of your own finances. And like you said about the French guy, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. No one's gonna come to you and tell you, oh no, I'm not doing this for you. Hold on, I can do it myself. I've got,
you don't have a leash anymore.
I can put out 20 songs today if I want to.
Yeah,
I can do this, I can do that, you know. And I think that takes time though.
Now,
It takes years and years.
Yes, but to be fair, just like any other normal job.
Yeah.
Like if you start as an accountant, there's no way in 1 year you make enough money to last for your whole year, right? So I feel like, again, this kind of business acumen that guys like Drake, even to be honest, the Beatles, like pioneered back in the days. I share a lot of things about Russ. I think Russ is a great blueprint, the rapper. Yeah. I think he's a great blueprint. I mean, regardless of the type of music, he's trying to share as genuinely as possible. I think it's very interesting.
It's cool. And I think we all need to figure out our own way, because Russ's way may not be your way, or maybe the other person's way, but it's awesome to know that you can do it yourself. There's no need for you to, be waiting for a label now. You can put, you can put your songs out and the song blows up. It's possible now.
In your case, for example, so do you have your own label, or do you DIY? Do you distribute?
It's all well, it was DIY. I'm now working with a company called Melody Music.
As a distributor?
Distributor, yes.
Okay, is it like an exclusive deal, or is like
it's not
like a CD Baby?
Yes. It's not an exclusive deal, but they will push all the music. They, whatever I give to them, they will push it and put it onto playlists and stuff like that. So it's a new relationship, but I'm happy with how it's going at the moment. I can see the growth, and I think for me, I really want to work with kind of smaller independent companies that really want to push independent music.
I've never heard of them, so I'm gonna take a look, because we started, so we have already a lot of partnerships are ready for when we're going to launch. But
Yeah.
before we go a bit further in distribution and how all of this works and discovery, which is like one of the most important thing in my opinion, are you familiar about how royalties are being split in music at the minute online? Because the concert's pretty easy. Like you have the door, 100 people, 10 people, so you can have 1,000 at the end.
Not at the moment now. It
So-
sounded like something I'm not.
To make it very short, right now, if I'm your fan on a normal music platform at the minute, if I stream you but just 1 hour last month, I don't stream a lot. So basically, a lot of my money is going to be redirected towards the artists that are streamed the most.
Yes, I do know about that. Yeah.
And that's one of the things we discussed briefly. Is like the model that I'm pushing and I'm telling everyone that I think everyone should ask for is a model where what matters is that my money as a fan is only being split amongst the artists that I stream.
Yeah.
Because that would mean that as an artist, if you think about business and sustainability, what matters is not the quantity of fans, it's the quality.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like a fan is better than the other. It just means like this is a real fan or this is someone that listens to you casually. In the current system, the fact that a stream is a unit, in my opinion, is borderline an abomination.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how can you be judged on such a digital metric that you have no control over?
Yeah.
Versus in real life, you could be killing it, right? Like we know bands in London performing every week, making like 99% of their money with live music. But online, they have the same 3,000 people that have been following them for like, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
And they still don't make money off them. They literally make like a tenner per month, like out of 3,000 people that love them.
Yeah.
In this like future model that I think user-centric should actually happen, with 1,000 true fans, you could actually live off your art way better on the streaming side of things. And then the next step is, of course, how do you foster that relationship with the audience? And this is why I think that that's what people call direct to consumer, right? When you can sell your vinyl, your merch, your concert ticket, but also a meet and greet maybe, or maybe someone wants to sing with you in the studio or just to watch you in the studio. I think that creating music platforms doing this, so mixing a direct to consumer experience and a music experience, which is what Lissen, our music platform does, is the future, because it empowers you way more to foster that relationship and to make it durable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's important for you to be able to have that, foster that relationship with your true fans, just so they can always come back to you. And even the whole, how they're splitting the streaming numbers is just horrible.
It's ridiculous. How do you maintain fan engagement? Do you do the classic Spotify plus your socials?
Yeah, I guess that's it, really. Spotify, socials, when I have shows that way as well, but it's just really socials. I mean, it's a lot to do because there's so many other things to do, but I think that's the only way I can do it at the moment now, just through the Spotify, through old newsletters as well. That's probably one of the main ways I do it as well.
Direct to consumer again.
Direct.
If you own that relationship with your audience, then of course you remove every middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
There is literally I think that the newsletter business is here to stay, because that's the only real direct to consumer relationship you have. Yeah. No one can prevent you from using your email. Yeah. Well, unless you lock down your Gmail, right? And no one can prevent you from sending an email. So I agree with you that do you use a platform already? Did you start your newsletter?
MailChimp. We use MailChimp.
I'm using one called Behave.
Okay, is that good?
And I think it's good. They are, and it's also like a blog platform. Okay. You have also something called Substack, Ghost, Medium.
Yeah.
I think all these platforms, Behave so far, I've been really happy about how they make it, but it's very interesting how the customer acquisition pipeline works online. Because you could have a big following on socials, like on IG, for example, but the amount of people who will subscribe to your specific newsletter is 0.1% of that, and it's the exact same when you're on Spotify. So someone discovers your music on Spotify.
Yeah.
if you're lucky, they go and check you out on socials. And then if you're super lucky, they're going to subscribe to your newsletter, which means that from now on, you can tell them when you have a new show, tell them when you have a vinyl, a merch drop, and so on. And I think this at the moment is way too cumbersome. That being a fan in music is a nightmare. Versus if you're a gamer, or you love game, like just casual gamer, but you just love other gamers, you just click. You can access everything. You can like, I want to have a behind the scene video of what you just did. Click, I want to buy a dance move. So at the moment you do the classic, do you have your own website?
Yeah, I have my own website. I have a website for the business. I have a website for Silvastone as well.
Okay, and so you try to have that pipeline that works properly.
Yeah.
And you need to, of course, be cautious to not promote yourself too much, but on socials, and to give value to your fans.
So the newsletter is once a month. So one newsletter a month. And even just keeping up with that, sometimes it's difficult, just remembering to do it, but it's important, and also because of the stuff I do with the other people, I kind of put that in there as well. It's important to kind of show the overall give back and like shine a light to all the other things that we're doing for the community and how like we are being the change that we want to see in our community. It's really important.
Yeah, 100%. I think that the best, I mean, if you had like a magic wand right now and you would like to determine what would be the service that I'm missing right now, or the tool or the platform that I'm missing right now to continue doing this, right? So education, artistic endeavors, let's say, with what you're doing, right? How would you find, what would it be for you the best case scenario for you to basically offer all of this in the simplest manner to your fans? Because right now it's a lot of things. You have a website, you have Spotify.
I think it's having great marketing. I think that's one thing I'm working on now, getting the correct marketing.
So marketing on the streaming side of things, like playlist placement and so on, or just overall?
Just brand marketing. I think once we market the brand, then people can buy into it better. They'll understand it a bit more, and then they can buy into it from which part they actually enjoy. That's why I want to really.
And so could you give me a glimpse of like how you plan to go about it with your own brand right now with Silvastone?
So at the moment we're talking to a PR company who is looking at everything that I do.
Yeah.
And seeing how they can now put that into, they can shop that to different organizations and like just online, and just change even some of the things I'm posting, to kind of showcase like the overall Silvastone world.
To make it cohesive.
Yeah, that's what I feel that needs to be done. Because a lot of the time it's just my music or just what I'm doing, as in like events, being out. Whereas there's a lot of stuff I do with the young people. There's a lot of stuff I do with different companies and businesses. I think that would be really cool as well, to be able to showcase that so people can say, you know what, I saw him with, JP Morgan talking about, understanding the importance of music in your workplace for your mental health.
Yeah. And to talk about business, even if you're in music.
Yeah, but that if you are taking care of your mental health, then you'll be able to be a better businessman. You'll be a better employee, and that might come through just having things that you enjoy. Like if I'm talking about that, that's important, but it's not me talking about my new song.
Yeah. I feel like as an artist, that's very important. Yeah, like people know the whole you. If you know, like you make great music, and you help kids' education.
This is it.
You want, like, as a fan, you're just like, I'm not like just making sure that I give him money just so that he can buy a Lambo. I'm just like, he actually reinvests in the community, which
that's what it's about.
Social fabric at the end.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how much millions you've got in your own bank, but it's all about what you can do for others. It's how you can bring change. It's how you can bring inspiration. So important, because a lot of us just think about what we are doing and that's it. But really and truly, we have to kind of like give back open up the minds of, you know, the young and just let them understand that, okay, you can do this, you can do better, you can do much more.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, as well as you yourself, the artist, doing great stuff as well.
Yeah, like to plant the seeds of trees you will then see the shade of, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to create the community you would like to live in, and you can
Yeah,
see
that's it. Be the change that you want to see. So it's important. I mean, I've got a t-shirt line that says "Create Your Turn" as well. I think it's quite important for artists to do that as well. You know, a lot of times we're knocking on the doors, we're begging, we're asking, "Oh, can I?" But really and truly, if you create something so huge, you'll be good.
the society we live in, like when you see how nurses, teachers, and artists are being compensated, and it's really a shame.
Yeah.
That comes from someone that literally grew up in the IT and finance world, right? So I'm well positioned to say like, life is not bad over there, right? And for me, it's a shame because my family, like my mom and dad, were social workers. A lot of my family are like farmers and so on. So, and sometimes like not the people owning the land, right? Just like literally the people operating it. So not like the real wealth underneath. And so, yes, there needs to be that discussion happening. And I think in society, art is really, and culture, it's really important because otherwise, you just build a very gray, boring society, and we just like ants, and we're just a bit too pragmatic, I would say.
That's it. It's true.
It's I mean, when I think about it, like we have so many things that we could do to channel this, but
it's important to do it. I think we will be missing a trick because what will happen is AI will take over and we wouldn't have invested in the next generation.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, you know, these people are invested in the next generation. So it's important for us to do that as well.
100%. Last few things. Have you tried to push music on Bandcamp, for example?
That is the next thing I'm doing with my team now.
Okay. So to try to, again, direct to consumer, like on the streaming platforms, you can have 10 songs, but there's an extra one that you can only get if you pay for it.
Yeah.
Get it? And have you tried like, so when you talk about marketing, you talk about like your whole brand.
Yeah.
And have you tried like services like on both sides, right? I guess a PR agency like can help you for the educational activities and so on.
Yeah.
But within music, platforms like Unheard, for example, that try to help you to place your music in playlists or like to understand how your audience behaves. Have you tried that?
No.
Okay.
Something I'll have to learn because there's so much to learn. So right now I'm in learning mode.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Listen, that was perfect. I learned a lot. This is really interesting. Do you have a concert soon or some new
I have a few shows soon. One in Pollard Hill. I have one in...
When?
I'll have to get the dates. I can't.
Okay. This summer.
This summer, this summer. And then I'm going to put together my own headline show as well this year.
Okay.
So, working on just releasing more music, new music, and then,
So some new music is coming soon also?
Yep, I dropped Boom Blast, which is out. That came out like last week.
Yeah.
And then I've got more music coming out next month.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Do you love Amapiano?
No, this Boom Blast is like a reggae rhythm, and then the next record is neo soul. Right now, I'm just making music I love. I'm just gonna be putting it out, you know. And there's no need to be put in a box.
100%.
Yeah.
When you check what like guys like Prince were
there you
doing.
go. Yeah, just make the music that sounds dope. That's it. Yeah. There's no need to be putting yourself in a box.
Perfect words to close the episode. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
Great.
Yes.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh, thank you, bro.